Okay, I've set up an edge-to-edge project in the edge-to-edge mode, which I never do, except I'm doing this for a demo. Now, I have this pattern, I have it all set. I have my pattern height, my pattern width, I have the 3 repeats, 7 rows, negative 0.5 vertical, connect start and end, and I have selected I'm going to use end of set. So I have this all set up. Notice I have my boundary. I click my upper left, upper right, lower left, and Creative Studio put the boundary on the screen. Now, if I really want to, I can double check the right side of the quilt by taking the machine down to the right side and just looking at the crosshair, and it looks good. Creative Studio has finished the first row, and it's given me the instruction to cut the bobbin thread and click OK. I cut the bobbin thread and I clicked OK. Now I'm ready to roll the quilt. I've rolled the quilt, I've basted the sides, and I'm ready to continue. Remember, I'm in the edge-to-edge mode, so instructions are to click on the continue icon. And remember, when I set this up, I had selected end of set. So I'm going to click continue and see what happens. Have you rolled the quilt and positioned your needle at the last sewn pattern's end point? Oh, this won't work, will it? The last sewn pattern's end point is way up here because I forgot. The start and end are at the top of this pattern, and I selected end of set. Now I'm stuck. I've rolled the quilt. I don't have anywhere to go. So now I'm just going to click no and see what happens. I know I can't continue because I can't get to the end of the set. The end of the set's way up there, and that's on the take-up roller. What happens if I select a repeat and then I go down and I say relocate, shift all to 2 points? Using relocate all converts this quilt group from edge to edge to repeat patterns. Do you wish to finish your edge to edge by using repeat patterns instead of edge to edge? Continue, yes or no. I'm going to click yes and see what happens. Oh, click the first known point on the CAD screen. Okay, I'm going to follow the instructions now and just see what happens. This pattern has very sharp points along the lower edge of the pattern, so I'm going to select one on the left and one on the right, and I'm going to use those. So this is the first point, and I'm going to click on that. Now it says click on the second point. I'll choose a point way down on the right end of the quilt pattern. I've zoomed in on a point that's way down on the right end of the pattern, and I'm going to use this. Remember, if you're going to use relocate, shift all to 2 points, you need some really sharp points, something you can identify easily with the mouse and with the machine head. So I'm going to click on this second point and see what happens. More instructions. Click yes when the machine head is at the first point on the quilt. No to cancel. When I move the machine to the first point, place the needle over that point that I clicked on with the mouse and clicked yes, it told me to move the machine to the second point and do the same thing. When I clicked on the second point by placing the needle over the second point that I used on the CAD, Creative Studio shifted all the patterns. And notice, I still have my original boundary that I set up in the edge-to-edge mode. It shifted the patterns, and it's keeping the patterns, indicating here that I still have my boundary set up. And if I continue to use this method, every time I relocate, shift all to 2 points, Creative Studio will shift the next group of patterns into the boundary, ready to be quilted. I've checked both edges of the quilt. I've checked the left edge, I've checked the right edge to make sure the pattern is going to stay within the boundary where I want it. I used the crosshair to do this. I placed a crosshair all the way on the right side of the quilt, and I made sure that this pattern was going to stay exactly where I want it to quilt. I am now ready to quilt the next row. You can see how easy it is to recover from something that you either pressed the wrong button by mistake, or you forgot to change your what you're going to use to reset your boundary for the next quilting area in the edge-to-edge mode. I forgot to change from end of set to place 2 pins, and as a result I had to do a relocate using shift all to 2 points to recover from my mistake. Notice Creative Studio has changed my edge-to-edge quilt group to repeat patterns edge to edge. Now I'm wondering, if Creative Studio did that, why shouldn't I just use repeat patterns for all my edge-to-edge quilting in the first place?